Disney is often seen as the epitome of magic, innocence, and heartwarming stories. However, hidden behind the gleaming walls of its iconic vault are cartoons so controversial that the company has gone to great lengths to bury them. These films, once released to the public, were met with backlash for their uncomfortable themes, racial stereotyping, or inappropriate content for the time. While Disney's enchanting classics are well known, these lesser-seen works hold secrets that the company would rather keep forgotten. Join us as we unlock the vault and uncover 12 Disney cartoons the company wishes were erased from its history. 1. The Three Little Pigs, 1933. Released during the Great Depression, The Three Little Pigs quickly became one of Disney's earliest masterpieces. The short's catchy song, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, resonated with audiences as an anthem of resilience in tough times. The pig's battle with the Big Bad Wolf became an allegory for overcoming adversity. However, the original version contained a deeply problematic portrayal of the wolf in a Jewish peddler disguise, perpetuating harmful stereotypes. After protests from Jewish organizations, Disney edited the scene, replacing the stereotypical peddler with a more generic figure. Over time, the film was lauded for its animation and music, but the controversy over its original portrayal of the wolf remains a dark chapter in Disney's history. Today, the edited version is mostly known, but the original version's racial caricature serves as a reminder of the cultural insensitivity prevalent in early animation. 2. Saludos Amigos, 1942. Saludos Amigos was created during World War II as part of the U.S. government's Good Neighbor policy to foster relations with Latin American countries. The film follows Disney's characters, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, through various South American countries, exploring their cultures and landscapes. Initially praised for its colorful animation and the portrayal of Latin America, the film was later criticized for relying on stereotypes. Characters like José Carioca, the Brazilian parrot, and Donald Duck's bumbling antics were seen as oversimplified caricatures. Disney artists traveled to South America to gather material, but the film ultimately filtered cultural nuances through a Hollywood lens, making it appear more like a tourist's view of Latin America. Despite its good intentions, Saludos Amigos is considered by some as an example of cultural appropriation, and over time, Disney has distanced itself from the film. It remains an artifact of an era when entertainment and diplomacy were often intertwined. 3. The Three Caballeros, 1944. The Three Caballeros was the sequel to Saludos Amigos and continued Disney's wartime diplomatic effort. The film follows Donald Duck, José Carioca, and Panchito Pistores, a Mexican rooster, as they journey through a surreal mix of animation and live action. The film's vibrant style dazzled audiences with its dynamic visuals, catchy music, and cultural references to Latin America. However, The Three Caballeros also sparked controversy for its portrayal of Latin American cultures, which many saw as reducing complex societies to simplistic caricatures. Donald's exaggerated pursuit of women and Panchito's gunslinging antics were seen as offensive by some, and the film's chaotic mix of slapstick and surrealism made it difficult to fully appreciate. Though the film defended its good intentions, its awkward racial and cultural depictions make it one of the more troubling artifacts in Disney's history. Despite this, the film's animation remains celebrated for its creative risk-taking. 4. Der Führer's Face, 1943. In the midst of World War II, Disney produced Der Führer's Face, a propaganda short starring Donald Duck. In this surreal and disturbing nightmare, Donald finds himself working in a Nazi munitions factory, forced to endure the horrors of a war-torn world. The film uses grotesque caricatures of Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, and Hirohito to mock the Axis powers, with Donald participating in a nightmarish sequence of war-related imagery. While the film was an effective piece of wartime satire, it also contained uncomfortable scenes, including Donald briefly wearing a Nazi uniform and shouting, "Heil Hitler." Although satirical in nature, the jarring imagery proved too unsettling for later generations, and Disney quietly shelved the film. The cartoon remains a historical artifact, serving as a reminder that Disney, known for its family-friendly films, also played a part in wartime propaganda. Today, it stands as a testament to the complexities of using animation for political purposes. 5. Mickey's Meller Drummer, 1933. Mickey's Meller Drummer is one of the more uncomfortable shorts from Disney's early years. In this film, Mickey Mouse and his friends perform a play adaptation of Uncle Tom's Cabin, but the characters are portrayed using blackface. The practice of blackface in entertainment was unfortunately widespread in the early 20th century, and Disney, at the time, did not see the racial implications. Mickey, in particular, was smeared with shoe polish to represent a black character. Though it was meant as a comedic take on the famous novel, the racial insensitivity in the portrayal became obvious over time. In the 1960s, Disney quietly removed the short from distribution, effectively erasing it from their archives. Despite being relatively unknown to most modern audiences, Mickey's Meller Drummer serves as a reminder of the era's cultural blind spots. It also highlights Disney's eventual acknowledgement of the importance of moving away from harmful racial stereotypes in their future works. 6. Victory Through Air Power, 1943. In 1943, Walt Disney released Victory Through Air Power, a propaganda film that argued air superiority was crucial to defeating the Axis powers in World War II. Unlike other wartime cartoons, Victory Through Air Power was a serious, persuasive argument for the military strategy of using air power. The film was a mix of documentary and animation, featuring dramatic sequences of enemy cities being bombed and discussing the importance of strategic bombing. While it had some praise for its technical quality, the film's overt militaristic tone and detailed depictions of warfare made it a difficult fit for Disney's family-friendly brand. After the war, Victory Through Air Power was buried by the studio, as the images of destruction and dominance clashed with Disney's post-war desire to return to light-hearted storytelling. Today, the film stands as a fascinating historical artifact, illustrating Disney's role in wartime propaganda, but it's largely forgotten by modern audiences. 7. Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs, 1943. Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs was a Warner Brothers short that parodied Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The film, which featured an all-black cast and used racist caricatures, caused controversy from the outset. While meant to be humorous, the short leaned heavily on offensive stereotypes, with exaggerated features and language designed to mock African American speech patterns. Though it was marketed as jazzy and fun at the time, civil rights groups, including the NAACP, quickly condemned the short as a vicious mockery of black people. For Disney, who had pioneered fairy tale animation, the parody reflected the uncomfortable racial dynamics in Hollywood at the time. Though not directly a Disney production, the film's cultural implications forced Disney to distance itself from it. Today, Coal Black and the Seven Dwarfs stands as a painful reminder of the racial insensitivity in early Hollywood, with Disney's influence subtly intertwined with the controversial content. 5. The Martins and the Coys, 1946. The Martins and the Coys was a segment in Disney's anthology Make Mine Music that lampooned the violent Appalachian feuds of the time. The short featured a slapstick portrayal of a family rivalry with constant gunfire and moonshine, all set to jaunty folk tunes. At the time of its release, audiences found it amusing, but in later years, the film's glorification of violence was deemed inappropriate, especially in a children's film. Disney's image, built on wholesome family entertainment, clashed with the film's tone, and by the time the 1960s rolled around, it was quietly removed from re-releases. The violence, however comically portrayed, felt tone-deaf in the context of post-war America, where attitudes toward gunplay and violent conflict were changing. Today, The Martins and the Coys is almost completely forgotten, only surviving in archival editions. Disney's choice to erase it is an example of the company's careful curation of its legacy, attempting to distance itself from any material that tarnishes its family-friendly image. 9. The Jungle Book, 1967. The Jungle Book, released in 1967, was the last Disney film overseen by Walt Disney himself before his death. It was a massive commercial success and beloved by generations for its characters, especially Baloo the bear and Mowgli. However, one character, King Louie, became the center of controversy. Louie, an orangutan voiced by Louis Prima, was depicted as a jazz-loving, scat-singing character. Critics later argued that the portrayal of a black character as a monkey reinforced harmful racial stereotypes. Disney executives, aware of the growing civil rights movement, defended the character as comic relief, but the racial implications have sparked ongoing debate. In the 2016 remake, Disney reimagined Louie as a giant ape to avoid the problematic portrayal. Despite this, the legacy of King Louie's character lingers, reminding us that even Disney's most beloved films are not immune to scrutiny over race and representation. Fantasia, 1940. Disney's Fantasia was an ambitious experiment that combined classical music with groundbreaking animation. One of its most famous segments, the Pastoral Symphony, featured a group of centaurs prancing through idyllic landscapes. However, the character of Sunflower, a black centaurette with exaggerated features, caused controversy. Sunflower was depicted as a maid to the lighter-skinned centaurs, reinforcing harmful racial stereotypes. In the 1960s, with the rise of the civil rights movement, Disney executives decided to erase Sunflower from the film's re-releases. By the 1990s, she had been completely removed from mainstream versions of Fantasia. Though Disney argued that Sunflower reflected the era's casual racism rather than malice, the removal of the character has sparked debates over whether such depictions should be preserved as cultural artifacts or erased to protect audiences from harmful imagery. Fantasia remains a celebrated masterpiece, but its troubled history with race reminds us that even the most innovative films can carry the burden of their time. As we've seen, even Disney's magical world is not without its shadows. These 12 cartoons, once buried or erased, serve as reminders that even the most beloved companies must grapple with their past. While Disney's legacy of enchantment remains intact, these forgotten films offer a glimpse into the complexities of its history. Whether they were products of their time or unfortunate missteps, they continue to spark conversation and reflection. What are your thoughts on these controversial cartoons? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation.